health concerns are expected to rise following the tragic shooting in Minneapolis, especially with the start of a new school year just days away. Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson spoke with a local psychotherapist today about how to help manage fears and stresses related to them.
I spoke with mental health experts here at Insight Counseling who say the importance of mental health, especially when it comes to traumatic events like this one, cannot be overlooked. Psychotherapist Michael Kleba deals with topics like PTSD, anxiety, and grief, so he's no stranger to the traumas of today. Kleba says for local parents and students, he would expect high levels of anxiety moving into the school year.
Anxiety with children today and adolescents is much higher than it was. It continues to increase.
In the past decade alone, there have been over 1,300 school shootings in the U.S., resulting in over 500 deaths. And these statistics keep the conversation of school safety a priority concern. Kleba believes parents should keep in mind young kids can pick up on the nerves of the adults around them.
And so I'd really caution with that piece there, just so that you're not bringing your anxieties to them and creating something in them that wouldn't be there, or at least not to the extent that it would be there otherwise.
As difficult as it may be, Kleba suggests parents should have those difficult conversations with their kids. He says it can help them work through their fears.
If they know that this happened, then be checking in with them. And how are you doing? How was your day? Did you think about it today? Was there anything that scared you today about it?
He says his best advice is to allow yourself and your kids to have big feelings and understand that stressors don't always leave us quickly.
Trauma never goes away. Never completely goes away.
Medical professionals encourage anyone with mental health concerns following today's incidents to reach out for help. In Duluth, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.
And experts also recommend for parents to reach out to their local school districts and ask about what safety measures are in place to help ease their concerns.